Hello everyone, welcome to my talking book channel. Today we're going to talk about a poetic book. Usually people don't review or talk about poetic books. There are very less people who talk about such books in YouTube because they consider it as a personal choice. So if there is fiction or non-fiction, they can talk for hours. They can review the book for hours and hours. But if it comes to poetic books, they won't do that. They'll just put a reel and go. So today, whatever, I wanted to try talking about or giving a review on this book called Rumi A New Collection, selected and translated by Farukh Dhondy. I think I'm pronouncing the name right. This is a translated book. He's not the actual author of these poems, but he is a translator. The original poems are of the author Rumi. He's a Persian poet, a philosopher, a preacher who has written various poems devoted to the philosophy, the doctrine, and the poetic interpretation of Islam. So, all of his poems are related to, they are all philosophical, and also it will be related to Islam, Sufism, and all those things. So, this particular translator, Farukh Dhondy, he has picked few poems and has translated them, and they say it is his second book. I would really love to read his first book as well because the poems were very beautifully translated and I loved a lot of them. Actually, I loved all of them, but I just highlighted some that really captured my heart. Most of these poems, as I told earlier, talks about philosophy, oneness with God, spiritually related. So of course I'm a kind of person who reads a lot of things like this, and this is really amazing. And some of the poems are not just poems, they are like, a story, a small story from which we can learn something. Some of the small story poems that I liked from this book are, there's a poem called The Worm, then Time Alone, Why Fear Death, I Am You. Oh, I like this poem a lot. I'm just, I'm mugging up this poem to recite anywhere I want. The Grammarian and the Boatman. It's a small story about a person who is a scholared person in grammar, and he goes in a boat with a boatman, and this grammarian person, he asks to the boatman, like, do you know about this, something grammatical questions to him, and the boatman says, see, I don't know anything about this. Then this pompous grammarian will be like, see, you have wasted half of your life. And then suddenly a storm comes, and this boatman jumps out of the boat and says to the grammarian, see, you have to get out of the boat and swim. I'm not going to sail the boat anymore because here's the storm. And then this grammarian is like, see, I don't know how to swim. For which the boatman replies, then you have wasted not half, but all of your life. None of your intellectual stride is going to save you from this rising tide. So this is how small stories in the form of poems are given in this book, and they are very interesting to read and also teach us some good lessons. And there are also poems on love, and it is not for the actual love that we men and women have. It is the love for God. The lover here is none other than the God Himself. So all of the love poems of Rumi's are about loving God and his love with God. They are not the real lover poems, okay? I like this line from the book. Our forms are worldly, our souls are in no place, which is in the realm no intelligence can trace. This same kind of meaning, this same message is what I got from the book called Autobiography of a Yogi. If you remember, I would have highlighted those lines, I guess. Well, whatever, all I just felt is all the religions are trying to preach the same thing. Like as we say, all the rivers meets at the ocean, the one and only ocean. So whichever religion you are in, so it's all the same, just the root is different. I'd like to read my very favorite poem from this book. Yeah. I am you. I am the dust that's dancing in the light. I am the sun whose rays destroy the night. I beseech the dust particles to say, stay. I beg the sun to procreate the day. I am the enveloping morning mist. I am the twilight which the sunset kissed. I am the wind that shakes the tops of trees. I am the surf that rides all seven seas. I am the mast, the rudder, and the deck. I am the coral reef, its final wreck. I am the tree with squawking parakeets. I am the sound of silence in the streets. I am the music coming through the flute. I am the flint and metal in pursuit of the spark that initiates all fire, compelling moths to their fatal desire. I am the rose, its fragrance and its thorn, and the nightingale within song reborn. I am all orders of beings that are, all galaxies, all space, the evening star. I am what is and is not. I am who? I know that you who know I am you. Beautiful, right? Here's another one about time alone. Is solitude more precious than fathomless company? Is power over a nation better than to be free? If confined in your room, you can spend your time alone. You can study the imprint of the value that you own. Cute, right? So, all of these poems are beautifully translated and presented by this translator called Farukh Dhondy. I really love this book and I recommend this to all the readers. I have never tried a poetic book other than my own book that I've wrote, Honey's Desire. That's my own poems. But this is the first book that I've read, first poetic book that I've read. So I really loved it. I'm going to try more. So at the end of the book, there is note about the arrangement of the verses. The whirling dervish. It is about the story of Rumi, how he ended up being spiritual and a preacher, and how he got his, uh, in my words, if I could say, how he got his guru. You know, guru is someone who helps in the quest of your enlightenment and the realization of God. So Rumi gets a person like that. So his story is given, and the final note is about the various translations of Rumi. This particular translator says that other translations are, though Rumi's translations are very famous among celebrities and all the other things, but many translators are not properly translating the work. Either they completely change the meaning or they completely translate it as a mere preaching so that people don't easily understand, or they translate his love poems into the actual love poems, like between a guy and a girl kind of love poems, which is not true. It totally changes what Rumi is trying to say, or it even does injustice to Rumi's work as what the translator is trying to say in his final note in the book. So you can go and check this beautiful book, Rumi A New Collection, and enjoy reading. You can memorize some of these poems and recite wherever you want to, just like me reciting I'm You poem wherever I want to, because I really liked it and I feel the God is everywhere. I'm You is nothing but God is everything, each and everything, and God is me and in myself. So that's just a beautiful poem. So yeah, go find out what's your poem in this beautiful book called Rumi A New Collection. I'll get back with another good book. Till then, bye from the talking book.